Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me today. I'm very glad to be here. I'm going to be talking about digital and blended learning and introducing the company that I work for, which is Really English. We work with schools and universities and companies around the world. So let me just introduce myself. My name is Russ Emmerson. I'm British. I'm from London, but now based in Bangkok. And I've now got about 30 years experience in English language learning in the industry. So various different roles, including teaching, lecturing, content development, and various other things. I also run a company called Acuity EdTech, and we develop CEFR assessments for English proficiency, to measure English proficiency levels. Okay, so if we think about the current market trends, so education, the education sector, what we see at the moment is we're still recovering from the impact of the pandemic. The pandemic affected over 90% of students around the world. So it had a very serious effect, and it meant that many schools had to close and they had to pivot and adjust their approach to learning. Some of the schools were able to do this very effectively, so they adjusted to delivering lessons virtually, online. They gave the teachers training. Some of the teachers were already prepared to be able to deliver lessons in this format. Other schools, it was a surprise for them. It was an emergency measure. They found it difficult to adjust. And so many teachers, many students, many parents of students had a negative view of online learning as a result of this. So what we've been trying to do is to improve that image. And the way that we do that is to focus on delivering high quality learning that are tools for teachers, that help teachers to do their job more effectively. What we also see is what I've referred to here as market fragmentation. So we've been talking to publishing houses recently, so publishers of English language course books. And what we're hearing increasingly is that they no longer want to invest in new English language course books. One of the reasons for that is because of technology and the future of learning, mainly because of AI. Many of the publishers feel that they will have to adjust their approach because AI will create an increasingly personalized approach to education. And so the future really is digital. What we try to do is to work with local providers of English language learning. So those could be universities, could be the English faculties in the universities or other faculties. It could be private language schools. It could be secondary schools. And we have worked a lot with corporates as well, with businesses who want to provide online learning to their employees. Our vision at Really English is that we want to provide online and blended learning in an achievable format. We want it to be simple, easy to use. We want the students to be able to access it wherever they are, so 24/7. And to do that, we have apps apps. We have apps for Android, we have apps for iOS. Students can also access our learning via their browser. We also provide content for the classroom for some of our courses. So we have blended learning content. So we have course books or material for the classroom that works in conjunction with the online lessons. So the online lessons can either be delivered as a homework component, or they can be used in a flipped approach, which means that the students study the online lesson first, and then they go into the classroom and practice the skills that they've learnt online in a communicative way. And the latter approach is the one that we find most effective. It does require an adjustment on behalf of the teachers and the students, but it's a very effective approach to language learning. The other thing that we feel passionately about is to be able to offer learning affordably. So recently, in the last year, we have been working with around 70 universities in the Ukraine. We've been delivering English language learning to those universities at very low cost in collaboration with some UK universities. We've also worked with women in Afghanistan who have a lot of difficulty accessing good quality learning, and because of some of the cultural difficulties they experience, the best way to get good learning to them is online. So these are just some examples of some of the things that we've been working on recently. So I talked about accessibility. We want it to be very easy for the students, wherever they happen to be, to access our courses. So even in situations where the students have difficulty accessing the internet, maybe the connection is not good, or maybe there are power outages. We've experienced this in Myanmar recently, actually. We create our app so that the students can download our lessons to the app, and they can study offline if they need to. And then when they can reconnect to the internet, their study record is automatically uploaded to the cloud. So we have worked with over 1,500 organizations around the world. I'll just give you a few examples of those organizations. These are some of the corporate clients that we've worked with. So you can see some big names there. IBM, PwC, Sony. Really English started in Japan. And initially we were offering courses to companies. And some of the big Japanese companies are still using our courses. We've actually sold the Japanese business now, but many of these companies are still using Really English courses. We then branched out into the academic market, so the university and college market. So you can see there some of the universities and colleges around the world that we have worked with. And of course, we work with a lot of English language schools as well. And again, some well-known names there: Wall Street, ECC, the British Council deliver our IELTS courses to some of their students. In fact, we collaborated with the British Council to develop the first IELTS course that we had, and subsequently we've developed more material, and they are using that in their centres around the world. So in total, since the company started, we've reached around 1.8 million students. So quite a lot of students around the world, most of those in Japan and China, but also in around 50 other countries as well. So we have a worldwide presence. And we now have thousands of hours of online learning. I think it's now around 3,500 hours of online learning, and it's good quality learning. It's developed by professional content developers, professional e-learning content developers, I should say. And the content spans CEFR A1 level to C1 level. So from beginner level through to advanced level. So we have content for all of those levels. So whatever stage the student is at, they will find content that will be applicable to their needs. And one thing that we are quite proud about is that our course completion rates are really quite high, 70% course completion rates. And that is because we work very closely with our partners in local countries to make sure that the students remain engaged and to make sure that the partners are delivering the courses to them effectively. Ordinarily, course completion rates for online courses are really quite low, sometimes only 20 or 30%. So 70% is quite a good number. So as I mentioned, we deliver the courses via PC and tablets, and we also have the mobile apps for Android and iOS as well. I talked about testing briefly. We've been working together with ASEAN MTI, based here in Thailand, to develop the WeTest. And the WeTest is a assessment of English, and it's a CEFR-aligned assessment. And it's designed to be very reliable. So test takers' scores will be accurate and consistent. It's a 45-minute test, 100 questions. So the student takes the test, they will immediately receive feedback on their test results, they will immediately receive a certificate. So it works very well as a placement test, but also a progress test and a final test as well. And then as far as our courses are concerned, the courses are divided into four main areas. So we have general English courses, academic English, business English, and English for special purposes. So the general English course, our flagship course, is called Practical English. The partners that we work with, they can change the name of the course. They can put their logo on the platform, so they can personalize the platform to their needs. They know their students best, and their students trust them, so it's best that they put their logo on the platform. So when the students visit the platform, they see the name of the provider that they know. They can adjust the names of the courses. We can give them lesson lists. They can choose the lessons that they want from those lesson lists, and they can build their own courses. So it's a very flexible, customizable approach to learning. Academic English, we offer IELTS preparation. So for students who will be studying overseas or will be studying in international academic environments. And what we suggest that together with the IELTS courses, that students study our academic English courses, because the feedback that we get from many international universities is that students get good IELTS scores, but when they arrive in the country where they will be studying, they find it difficult to adapt, because sometimes their academic English skills, their general academic English skills, speaking, listening, writing, are not so good. They haven't had enough practice in those general academic skills. They understand IELTS very well, but IELTS is really about test technique. It's about teaching for the test so that they improve their scores in the test. So what we recommend is for students to take the IELTS course and the academic English course. Then we have business English course, business speaking, writing, reading, and English for special purposes. So English for nurses, for cabin crew, for hospitality. We have a lot of different vocabulary courses for different industries. This is an example of the study record that the student will see. So teachers can monitor the students' progress and report on the students' progress, and students can also see how they're doing. They take a test at the end of each lesson, and that test is uploaded, so it's formative assessment. Right, so I talked a little bit about practical English. So our courses can be combined together into programs. So for example, if a school wanted to deliver practical English and general English vocabulary to their students, then we can combine those courses together into a package that they can offer to their customers, to their students. Right, so I think time is a bit short.